Let's go to Cormac as well, who is in the call. Cormac, if you're there, you can switch on your camera and unmute, please. Fantastic.
Hi, Cormac.
Hi, Julian.
Hi.
Thanks for speaking with us this evening.
No problem.
So my question for you is, the Good Friday Agreement enshrines the right to self-determination vis-a-vis a border poll. The agreement makes it quite clear that the power to call a border poll resides with the Secretary of State, but it doesn't specify the criteria upon which the Secretary of State must base that decision. So my question to you is, when you were Secretary of State for the North, what sources of information, what criteria did you rely on when considering the issue of a border poll? And obviously you didn't call a border poll, so there must be some sort of reason, rationale for that. And I'd just like to add to that, I understand that you're a politician, but I would really appreciate if you could be as precise or unambiguous in your answer as possible, please. Thank you.
I'm going to disappoint you, Cormac, because one thing I have promised myself, and been very clear, I'm not going to encroach on. Whilst I remain committed to Northern Ireland, I'm not going to encroach on, my successor or successor's responsibilities. But I think during the period I was Secretary of State, whether it was polling or whether it was other evidence, there was not evidence that there was anything that met the criteria within the Good Friday Agreement. But you're also right that is a fairly grey definition. But it is up for the current Secretary of State or future Secretary of State to make that judgment. And I honestly don't think it's appropriate now. I'm not in that job to to get involved with that.
I will, and I hope you don't mind, Julian, just ask on that. I'll push ever so slightly and say that in your mind, is opinion polling sufficient for that kind of decision, or is it election results something much more, hard and fast?
Well, look, it is undefined in the Good Friday Agreement, and I think it's undefined, for good reason. I think it is up to the Secretary of State of the day to make that judgment, and that will come, I assume, from a range of sources of information, not as with every judgment. But again, I'm not going to get involved with a responsibility that I don't currently have.
Well, you'll be proud to know you were as ambiguous in that answer as James Broganshire when we asked the same question. So clearly there's a tradition.